It's time for the Brouhaha Sports Show. Brouhaha Sports with award-winning sports writer Dale McKee and co-host Marshall Wood. Talking sports with the legends of the game and famous sports personalities. Brouhaha! Now to Marshall and Dale with tonight's guest.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's Brouhaha. Marshall Wood and Dale McKee, ready to talk a little sports and who knows what all. As Andy Griffith might say, who knows what all.
Well, I know it's chilly outside.
Yeah, man. We're having a, what's this, the spring, what do you call it, cold snap or whatever? Easter snap.
I think it's the last chapter of winter for this year, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It's a little too chilly for me. Too windy for sure.
Lots of sports stuff going on.
Is there?
Yeah, I think
What's
so.
going on?
We got playing baseball. I saw a baseball poll today, kind of made me proud. The Baseball America. Mm-hmm. You ever heard of them?
I have.
Yeah. All three of the state schools are in it.
Really? They get ranked this week?
Yeah. Let's see. I see. Arkansas number one. Let's see. I saw Ole Miss in there somewhere. I think. I got it all on paper, Dale, because I ain't like you. I can't remember everything.
Oh, you can't.
But let's just say that I said Ole Miss and Mississippi State. And Southern Miss was there. I think Southern's 25. Now, the other two are a little higher than that. But anyway, they're all three in there. Mississippi may be the state of baseball, huh?
Well, I hope so. All I can say is that, everybody was pumping up LSU, and
yeah.
Mississippi State beat them 2 out of 3. And listen, in 2 games, they beat them one time 10-4, and then they beat them 15-5. And the only loss was a 9-8 game.
Well, I tell you what.
So the Bulldogs did really good. I thought Ole Miss won 2 games over South Carolina, who was ranked number 20 coming in. And so, I mean, that's good. I'm just glad. I just hate for them to be down there at last place or something like that. But, but Southern Miss had a big win early in the week against probably a pretty good Alabama team.
Well, that's true, because Alabama's ranked up there, too.
Yeah, like
they're in the top 10.
9th or 10th or something like that. And so Southern got a big win over them last Tuesday night. I actually got to see that.
You were there, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Hodo play?
He did.
Did he get a hit?
He played by Friday. No, he didn't get a hit that night, but Friday night against Tennessee, he got 2 hits and drove in a couple runs.
Yeah.
So he's batting in that 260 average, deal, but he's making a contribution to a very good Alabama team.
Yeah, he's in the hunt.
Yeah.
I found the spot. Mississippi State 16, Ole Miss 17, Southern 25. But that's a lot to be proud of, Mississippi baseball.
Yes, it is.
And the Hodo kid, let's see, that's Stephanie and David's boy. He's what's he? He's a junior.
I think he's a junior.
Yeah. He had a good run up there at Wayne Academy. And talking about Wayne Academy, they got a couple of pitchers in the junior college. We talked about this some last week. They at East Central. East Central's number 1 in the nation.
Well, they're 28-0 entering this week.
That's pretty good, ain't it?
Now I do know that they have one guy from Wayne Academy, Luke Cooley, who's one of the better pitchers in the league.
Yeah, and he's got Cameron Carlisle Scooter up there too. That he's pitching. He's in the mix. He pitches every time that he's got pitches, I guess. But that guy pitches a lot of people.
Yeah.
I work with Cameron's dad, Wayne, and he talks about, how many, it's just amazing. He's just constantly just changing pitchers. But, I went to, the first college baseball game I ever went to, and I've been to one, was when Mississippi State beat Notre Dame.
In the regional?
In the regional, when he went on to win. And they had a guy up there that could really pitch. What was that guy, Landon? Man, nobody could hit him. When he took over that field, man, when he came on that mound, everybody just went crazy. Do you remember that guy's name?
I don't remember his last name, but I remember Landon when he pitched.
I don't know what got me on that topic. I'm having a senior moment.
Yeah.
Bail me out.
I wish I could.
Help me, Dale. Help me, Dale. Don't let me down.
Sometimes you just got to go down with the ship.
So that's what you're doing. I'm the ship, and I'm going down, so you just going to go down too?
Well, sometimes you just have to wait. It's going down.
Well, I tell you what, before this ship goes all the way down, let's talk about our guest tonight. What we got going on?
Well, we got an old friend of mine, and I'm talking about an old friend.
You got a friend now?
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you.
He is the sports information director of Jones College. I called it JCJ.
I saw that.
Okay.
And I was disappointed in you.
Yeah, and I like to call it JCJC, but because I want to do it proper, And so, but I worked with him for several years at the old Laurel Leader Call when it was a daily paper, and he was a sports editor.
Back when men were men.
And I helped him out a lot.
Yeah. You helped him out.
I helped him out.
You help a lot of people out there. You help me out. I appreciate you.
I do.
Yeah, you're a real helper-outer.
Okay.
Never let it be said that you're not a helper-outer.
Okay, well, I'll try.
So, Shawn Wansley?
Shawn Wansley.
I'll tell you what let's do. Let's take a break here from our sponsor, and then we'll be back in just a minute with Shawn Wansley. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
See you after the break, folks.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome to the show, Shawn Wansley. How's everything in Jones County?
Oh, it's pretty good over here, Dale. How are y'all doing tonight? It's just getting ready for some cold weather to come in.
Oh,
yes. I think it's the last hurrah for winter, hopefully, around here. Well, right now we're talking about inside sports. First of all, congratulations to the Jones Bobcats men's basketball team. They were Region 23 champs, and they're going to the national tournament. Tell us a little bit about the Bobcats.
Yeah, Jones College had an outstanding year under head coach Newton Mealer. Coach Mealer is in his third year at JC, and he's always been very optimistic about basketball at Jones, and he's kind of proven himself this year for sure. Jones is 27-6 right now. They swept through the Region 23 tournament last week. They had 3 close games. Jones was the conference champion and top seed, but 3 close games last week. We played Baton Rouge last Monday in Ellisville in the quarterfinals and beat them 80-75, and then we had to play the region tournament semifinals and finals at Tougaloo College. Normally it's played at Mississippi College in Clinton, but they had some issues with their roof. When it rains, apparently the water's going on the floor up there, so that wasn't very good. So somehow we were able to, the commissioner was able to secure Tougaloo College, and we played there on Thursday and Friday. Had a tough game against Holmes on Thursday night. We were up 72-59 with about 3 minutes to go, and we wound up winning 73-72 in that semifinal game. And then on Friday night in the championship game, we led for pretty much the entire game. But Gulf Coast tied us late. We were able to go ahead, and they had a chance at the end of the game to hit a basket to tie or to win, and we blocked the shot at the buzzer and won the game 83-81. So Jones will be going to the NJCAA D1 National Tournament for the 3rd time in school history.
Wow.
10 years ago, Jones won the national championship up in Hutchinson, Kansas. Jay Ladner was the head coach, and Bobcats had a great week of basketball. I was up there for that. 5 wins in 5 days, won the whole thing. And we returned in 2017 under Raheem Lockhart, and that team won a game at Hutch and then lost our next game. That team in 2017, they hold the record for most wins in school history, 29-2. Jay's team went 28-5, and this team is 27-6, the 3rd most wins. So Jones back in Kansas, playing for a national championship. The pairings were announced on Sunday night, and Jones will play Panola College out of Texas Sunday at 2:30 in the Hutchinson Arena. Panola is 26-6 on the year. They're the number 15 seed. Jones is seeded number 18. And if you win that game, you got to turn around and play on Monday at 7:15, week from today or March the 25th, we will play South Plains, Texas. They are 31-2, and they're the number 2 seed in the tournament. It's a tough thing to win that thing, as we know based on what happened 10 years ago. But it's fun to go there. Hutchinson has hosted, I believe, the tournament since about 1949 or 50. The arena now holds well over 6,000 folks. It's on the campus of Hutchinson Community College. You know, the football stadium's right there. They got a big track and field program. But the arena is very big, chairbacks everywhere, and that community really supports basketball. And it's going to be a fun thing for Jones to be up there. I think our guys can, hopefully they can impress, get that first win against Panola, and have a chance against a great South Plains team in round 2, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. Well, listen, how does, I know Jones is pretty successful in most of the sports these days, especially since you've arrived down there. And
that's right.
There you go.
No, I mean, but it's the truth. But what attracts kids to Jones Junior College, to Ellisville, Mississippi? You would think it's off the beaten path. What do you think the biggest drawing card is?
Well, you can say we're off the beaten path, but there are several JUCOs who are a lot more off the beaten path than Jones in the state. I think Jones has a great track record of getting kids into school and graduating them so they can go on to the next level. I know that's a big deal for us in football and the other sports as well, baseball, softball. But basketball is, it's right there as well. And Coach Mealer has just done an outstanding job of recruiting. This team we have this year is a freshman. It's a freshman team.
Wow.
Right now, in the last few games, we're playing all freshmen, maybe except for one player. We've got 2 sets of twins on the team. Dimp and Kai Purnell are from Horn Lake, and Dimp Purnell was named today as the Conference Player of the Year. Dimp and Kai are 6'3" guards. They can shoot it. They can rebound it. They can pass it. They've been unbelievable all year. Dimp averages about 19 points, 7 rebounds a game, and about 4 assists. Kai, about 17 points, 5 rebounds, and about 4 assists. Our point guard is a young man from Columbus, L.J. Hackman. He's about 6'3". He gets about 13 points a game, 4 assists a game. Very strong kid. He takes it to the goal, gets fouled a lot. He can shoot the 3 just like Dimp and Kai can. Trey Smith, our 4th starter there, he's the lone, he's an off the bench guy, I should say. He's about 6'5", out of Terry, Mississippi. He gets about 10 points and 6 rebounds a game. Shantarian Ward, they call him Rio. He's our only sophomore. He's the guy that, he's the only sophomore. He's about a 6'6" kid that starts for us. He can shoot it as well. Malik Franklin comes off the bench, a young man out of Vicksburg, outstanding shooter, left-handed shooter. He can handle the ball as well. And we got, I mentioned Dimp and Kai being twins. We've also got a pair of 6'9" twins out of Gulfport, Colin and Jalen House. And they're both 6'9". Colin, he had a great week for Jones basketball last week. He was a major player, especially in the victory over Holmes. He had, I believe, 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 block shots, his best game of the year. So it's a freshman-oriented team, and if we can keep all these guys together, Jones will have a great year again next year. But I know some of our guys, I know the Purnell brothers are, they were eligible to go senior college out of high school, and they're being heavily recruited. And I imagine once they get to Kansas later this week, they will be, there'll be a lot more senior college guys looking at them. So Coach Mealer has done a great job of getting players in there. Of course, he's a former USM player, and his teammate Clarence Weatherspoon is one of our assistant coaches, and I know they're both very happy to do well this year, and I know they're both spoke of Coach M.K. Turk, the longtime Southern Miss coach that everybody knew and loved, and they're very excited to carry on his tradition. Our other assistant coach is his first year at Jones, Trent Short. He does a great job with us as well. So it's a well-rounded team. They like each other. They get along well. And, we had one little slip-up during the year. We lost 3 out of 4 conference games right in the middle of the season. And since that point, we've won 8 in a row and going out on a hot streak. But this is what happens against Panola this weekend.
Yes. Well, listen, it's Hutchinson. That tournament's been around, like you said, since in Hutchinson since 1949. Now, I'm just going to ask you probably a dumb question, but do they have the same facility they had in 1949? Have they just refurbished it all the time, or is it the same building?
I think for the most part it's the same. I'm sure they probably played in a smaller arena, back in the late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
I know from the time we were there in 2014 until we went back in 2017, they had made some major additions. Like I know it's a big arena. There's a separate practice facility inside the arena now. That was not there in 2014. I think the NJCAA, I think they always wanted to keep it there because the community, they support it very, very well. But I think the NJCAA went to Hutch and said, if you can do this, this, and this, it will assure you of hosting it for many more years. And they made some more improvements to the arena, and it's a great setup. It's a very nice setup, and the community supports it. They're used to doing it, and I imagine this weekend when we get started up there, they'll have big crowds once again. And the crowds are there all day. The games start early and go late, and you've got people that sit there and watch basketball all day.
Yeah, I read an article today, and I don't know if it's right or not. Of course, it's on the internet. It doesn't mean it's true. But I read there's 430 junior college basketball teams in the United States of America. And, for a team, I don't know, how many is in this playoff? How many is in this, makes this?
There's 24 teams in this tournament. You've got 16 automatic region qualifiers, and they choose 8 at-large teams. It used to be 16, and in fact, I believe the year Jones won it 10 years ago, that was the first year they expanded it to 24. Mm-hmm. And it used to be, you could lose the first round game and they put you in the consolation bracket and you could play your way through there, but you wouldn't be eligible for the championship. Yeah. But they added 8 at-large teams 10 years ago. It's now a 24-team tournament. The top 8 draw a bye, and then 9 through 24 will have to play a first-round game to get to the final 16.
Yes, sir.
Well, listen, let's switch gears just a little bit. We're going to continue talking basketball, but we want to move to the NCAA bracket. And, I mentioned in our introduction about you that you were a longtime sports editor of the Laurel Leader Call, and so I just know that you've been around Mississippi for a long time. But and I know you're a big basketball fan too, but tell us what your thoughts about for the different regions, and as far as let's just go down some list here, okay? Because
I don't have the regions in front of me, so
no, I don't either. I don't either. I just got a bunch of games here. All right, here's of course now. There's a lot of grumbling in this and that about St. John's and Providence and somebody else not making it from the Big East, but just looking at those records, I didn't think they were any better than some of our SEC teams as far as their conference records. Some of them were like 10-10 in the conference, so I don't know how much the NCAA missed on it because there's so many teams, like we mentioned a while ago. But I just saw, the tournament, of course, starts tonight, this Tuesday night. You know, with Colorado State and Virginia playing in a game, and Wagner and Howard. Tomorrow night, Grambling, who was first time ever in the NCAA tournament, going to play Montana State, and then you got Colorado and Boise State. But, okay, on Thursday, so some teams that we're kind of familiar with. What do you think about the Mississippi State-Michigan State matchup on Thursday at 12:15?
Well, I think MSU is going to win that game.
One of them, right? I don't know which
Hedge
one.
your bets, boys. Hedge your bets.
Yeah, I'm going with MSU there. I see, you know, Michigan State is, I think they're favored by 1.5, and you know, just looking at some of the stuff online, there's a lot of grumbling about them even getting in, and let alone being an 8 seed. I know their coach, Tom Izzo, they're one of these blue bloods that's there every year, but I think they're, only 19-14 this year. Not one of the better teams he's had for sure. But, you know, Mississippi State, they had a rough go late in the year, won a couple of games in the SEC tournament. That's the reason, or a big reason they got in. I think the biggest reason they got in, well, they beat Tennessee twice, they beat Auburn, and they had a couple of good non-conference wins over Washington State and Northwestern. So, you know, I think certainly Mississippi State can win that game, but the tough thing there is if you win that game, it looks like you got to play North Carolina in Charlotte in round 2, and that won't be a very easy task right there.
No, it's not. Well, staying in the Southeastern Conference, what's your take on South Carolina and Oregon? Is South Carolina for real?
They played. I think they've been really good all year, and from all indications, their coach is probably going to be coach of the year because I don't think anybody expected anything out of South Carolina. But they've had an outstanding year. They got beat pretty handily by Auburn in the tournament, but that's not a surprise there. So I hope South Carolina can take care of business against Oregon.
All right. I'm just looking through some of them. I assume Tennessee is a big favorite over St. Peter's, and Kentucky over Oakland out of Detroit area because those are 3 and 14s and 2 and 15s playing. What do you think about the, the Florida-Colorado? Florida plays Colorado or Boise State. You think the Gators are a 7 seed because they made a good showing in the tournament last week.
They did. I saw one of their players, he broke his leg in that game against Auburn.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I saw that.
You know, that was a big deal there. They've been a really tough draw for people, or a tough opponent for people all year. I don't know how much that injury, but if they can play well, they can certainly win that game in advance.
Yeah, I noticed early in the year, Ole Miss, when they were kind of on a hot streak there, they had taken Florida pretty good up in Oxford. Now, I'm not sure about the rematch in Gainesville. What about 8 and 9, Nebraska and A&M, Texas A&M? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a pretty good matchup. Nebraska's been really good all year. A&M's kind of been up and down. I met their coach last year, Buzz Williams. He came to Jones to scout a player from East Mississippi, and the kid from East Mississippi did not have a very good game at all. He ended up scoring only about 6 or 7 points, really struggled that night, but Coach Williams was a very, very nice guy, and spoke to everybody, had a good time there, but he's an interesting character from what I understand. But I would say A&M could win that game as well.
Okay, now listen, the top 4 seeds of the whole tournament is, if I got this correct, is UConn, Purdue, Houston, and North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think they are the legitimate top 4? Should somebody else be included in there?
Yeah, I think they are legit. I was surprised that Houston got hammered like they did by Iowa State in their conference tournament final. But Iowa State's a team, to keep an eye on. They're really, really good. Getting a lot of good comments from a lot of these basketball experts. Purdue losing to Wisconsin was, I guess, kind of surprising. UConn is the defending champion, and they're very good again. And they're trying to be the first team since 2007 to repeat. And I think I saw where their coach said they've been the best team all year, and they should be the top seed. So they're going to be very hard to handle. But keep an eye on Iowa State. They're going to be a tough out. Another team on down the line, maybe not an upper echelon squad. Texas Tech's not a bad team either. So it's always fun. You're going to have upsets this week in the first round like you always do, but then the cream really comes to the top once you get past this first weekend.
All right, listen, you've seen Josh Hubbard play a lot this year. And, of course, I didn't see him play in high school, but he's an all-time leading scorer in high school basketball. But do you compare him? I was looking at him the other day, and he kind of reminds me a little bit of the Malone guy, Jeff Malone, that used to play at Mississippi State. What's your comparison to a former player that everybody may know out there?
Josh Hubbard, he was at Madison Ridgeland Academy, and he's all-time leading scorer. And I thought, I don't know how great the competition was for him. And I think he originally signed with Ole Miss, and then they let go of Kermit Davis and opened it up for him, and he ended up going to state. And I can tell you this, if Mississippi State didn't have him, they would not be where they are now. He's been an exceptional player. I'm kind of surprised he's that good, but he is that good. Jeff Malone, I was in school at State when he was there. He's maybe the best pure shooter that I've seen in person. But a guy that Hubbard reminds me of, State fans probably remember, was Darrell Wilson. He was on that 96 team that went to the Final Four. He was not a big, tall guy, and Josh Hubbard is not either. But they can both fill it up from way outside, and that's the way the game's played now. Steph Curry kind of changed it around. Josh Hubbard, he can shoot it. And if he's home, Mississippi State's hard to beat.
Shawn, this is Marshall, and I kind of gave you a warning about this when we started. We out of time, brother. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
That's right. That's right.
Well, listen, we appreciate you being on the show with us tonight and all that you've brought to the table. I want to ask you to hold on for just a minute. Will you hold on while we break for this spot?
Absolutely.
All righty. We're going to take a break to hear from one of our sponsors, and Dale and I will be back tonight with the final segment right after this commercial break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome back, everybody. And I tell you what, Dale, you pulled another rabbit out of your hat.
Hey, man, old Shawn's an encyclopedia of Mississippi sports.
He really is. I mean, he knows it at every level, buddy.
Yeah, and he watches it. He watches it pretty good, and he's done a heck of a job. He's won many awards down there at Jones for sports information, for the articles that he writes and stuff like that. And you can follow him on the Jones Athletic page. Yeah. He does a lot of their recaps of games. Now he does have an assistant down there or two. And of course, it's changing. Like when I was in the newspaper business, it was all about writing stories on Saturday morning. And now it's all about video and filming. Yeah. These players like to be seen, Yeah. They don't care about the written word a little bit.
Well,
but Shawn's doing a great job.
And you talk about the number of players and how many kids need to be seen. How any of them ever make it? It's almost a miracle. Mm-hmm. I did a little research on this basketball scholarships by division level. I mentioned earlier in the interview that there was 400 JUCO teams. I believe is what I said. I got it written down right here. 430, which translates to 6,352 players. There's 353 D1 teams and 313 D2s, 446 D3s, and there's more. But that's a lot of basketball and a lot of basketball players. One thing about the tournament coming up, March Madness, I read an article today, and there's these sports announcers and these hosts become a big part of things, and I read where Greg Gumbel's going to miss hosting March Madness this year due to some family health issues. I don't know if you were aware of that or not. But,
well, I saw where he was stepping aside, but I didn't know the reason.
Yeah, but you get used to these guys' traditions. You see the same guys back, and
Jim Nance, he's an institution. I don't think he's doing it this year.
Yeah, so I guess one thing constant is change, brother. Change.
Yeah, and older people like me and you don't like change, do we?
I can't stand the change. I tell you what, the changes I'm having trouble with are really close to the house. You got this hacking and coughing going on. Dale, anything else you got on your mind you want to talk about here at Brouhaha? You want to fight a little bit? Or,
No, I'm good. Shawn filled us in really, really well. Who is your pick for the men's tournament? Well, we didn't talk about the women's tournament.
Well,
we got some great teams: South Carolina, LSU, Iowa.
South Carolina's always good.
Nebraska is giving Iowa fits every time they play. I mean, they've gotten after them. I mean, UConn is still in. I mean, and one of those regions is packed out there. UCLA's got a good team, so. And I think Mississippi State women are going to go up to, is it Notre Dame to play?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, that's the lady from Iowa, isn't it? Mm-hmm. She'd be a good one to have on your team going into this thing.
Yeah, and they've got a freshman. I can't remember her name right now, but she's from UCLA, and she can play. And we need to watch UCLA one night just to see her because they say she is the second coming. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, Dale, I've enjoyed the show. I always do. We appreciate all our folks out there in radio land listening to us. We want to remind you that you can keep up with us on Facebook at the Brouhaha, and all of our shows are cataloged on our YouTube channel at the Brouhaha. But it has come to the part of the show where it's time to say goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, folks, and we'll see you next week for more of the Brouhaha. Get us out of here, Jamie.
You've been listening to the Brouhaha with Dale McKee and Marshall Wood. Heard Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. on WABO. For more of the Brouhaha, follow us during the week on Facebook and WABO.